Hey YouTube, this is Michael Kazmierski Dunn, if you guys don't know who I am, and welcome to episode 26 of the Blind Piper Reacts series. Or at least I think this is 26. Hang on, let me check. Yes, 26. My age as of when I'm recording this. So, this piece that I'm thinking of reacting to is not something that the coolest girl in the world, Haley, aka sent me, but rather something else that I found on my own. So, I'll give you a quick backstory here. So, in September 2016, I discovered one of my favorite opera singers, Laura Breton from Romania. And her vibrato was absolutely amazing, all that really cool. You know, she was only 13 when she recorded herself. It's weird because I don't know why she was on America's Got Talent, because according to what I hear, she is totally 100% Romanian. But in addition to Laura Breton, I found yet another opera singer who I discovered a little bit later in early 2017. And her name is Merissa Beddows. And I don't know if that recording is up there anymore. I doubt it is. But she recorded herself at age 12, completely self-taught, no training whatsoever, singing O mio bambino caro, right? And that's like the most common operatic song that every single operatic soprano learns or should learn. I thought her voice was actually pretty cool, pretty amazing for being self-taught. And so later that year, I looked at her YouTube channel to see if she could, to see how different her voice was over the years. And she uploaded a recording in 2017, which I don't think is up there anymore either. But her voice kind of slowed down, and her vibrato became kind of a wobble. And so I had to comment to her, I'm like, excuse me, but I think your vibrato slowed down a little bit. Do you think, maybe you could listen to some of my favorite opera singers? And then I told her what my favorite opera singers were. And so she's like, okay, thank you for your feedback. And 2 years later, in early 2019, she actually subscribed to my YouTube channel, which I thought was like, oh my gosh! And so now she's going to learn more about zampogne and Ciaramella and more rare, now she's going to hear more rare bagpipe recordings. And I thought, wow, that literally tells me she might want to be my girlfriend. And I don't know how this happened, but I have no idea what happened to that subscription. But right when COVID hit in 2020, I discovered that she actually produced another recording, which I don't know if it's still up either, because she did create her own new YouTube channel. But this recording was her in 2020 singing O mio bambino caro, followed by a French piece, followed by an Italian piece. And her voice improved a ton, and I was really impressed. Like, it sounded very much like Cecilio Bartoli. And Cecilia Bartoli is one of the most famous Italian operatic sopranos ever. But the problem was, she put this video in the most annoying kid mode, and recently YouTube has adopted this thing where if you put it in kid mode, nobody's allowed to comment. It's like, how in the world am I going to tell Merissa how amazing her voice is? I have nothing whatsoever negative to say about her. Like, how in the world am I going to tell her that her voice is amazing, you know? And, So I tried to reach out to her on Facebook, but there was no profile I could find named Merissa Beddows. So I just let it go. But then this past weekend, actually the day before Mother's Day, I discovered that Merissa uploaded another recording where she applies for this vocal competition, and she sings a French piece, which I've heard before, I think by Sarah Brightman and then Elena Chattel. And this is the piece that I feel like I'd like to react to, because in a way, hopefully, this will kind of be my way of trying to reach out to Merissa, because anybody can find anyone on YouTube. I mean, look at what happened to Emma Matthews' son Jack. Emma is one of my favorite opera singers as well, and he found me her son Jack found me just by, I don't know, just by chance. Me talking about how great Emma is. So I hope the same thing happens with Merissa. But anyway, so this is the, she says she'll introduce 2 pieces, but she only recorded herself singing one of those. But this is the piece that I'm planning to react to. And so, before I get to it, let me just say this, Merissa, I hope you hear this. I hope you eventually subscribe again, because what happened was Merissa had to create a new YouTube channel. The only thing I hate about it is that you put it in kid mode, and I really badly want to comment to tell you how amazing your voice is, and this is the only way I can possibly do that. So, Merissa, I hope you find me again. So, yeah. This drive has to wake up. But this piece is called, and I don't know what it means in French because I don't speak French. Depuis Le Jour by Charpentiere. And honestly, I've never really heard of that composer before. Wonder if Haley has. Again, so the first time I've ever heard this piece was a 1995 recording of Sarah Brightman. And then Elena Chattel recorded it back in, I think November of last year, 2021. So, here we go. And, yeah, so let's just get on with it. And, oh, by the way, this is the first time, the only time I've ever heard Merissa's speaking voice was that recording when she was 12, and that recording when she was 17. And honestly, in those recordings, she sounded like yet another one of my other subscribers, Brianna Dutton. Oh, and by the way, Brianna, I wanted to just shout out to you for, thanks. Also, thank you for subscribing. I knew you were looking forward to when I would kind of give you some recognition for subscribing, so thank you, Brianna. But Merissa sounded a lot like my friend Brianna Dutton. And in this 2020 recording, when she introduces herself, she sounds a lot different. So let's just give it a go and see how she sounds. And by the way, if you guys hear any weird noises, I love how amazingly warm it is outside here today. And so I like fresh air, and when the windows are closed in this quote-unquote dorm on steroids, it does get stuffy, and it kind of smells kind of like wood. And I want to let the fresh air smell in as much as I possibly can. So, and unfortunately I live right in the center of the city. So, unfortunately, you're going to hear a lot of motorcycles, fire trucks, trains, and they're completely out of my control. So just a warning in advance. So anyway, let's get on with it, and let's listen to Merissa Beddows. Here we go. What the heck is... Hang on. Haley posted something. Anyway, here we go. No, that's not Merissa. Okay, here we go.
Hello, my name is Merissa Beddows, and I'm applying to the Schmidt Undergraduate Vocal Competition. The first piece I'll be singing is Depuis Le Jour from Louise by Charpentiere, and the second selection that I'll be singing is Joy by Ricky Ian Gordon.
Unfortunately, she doesn't sing that second piece, but to be honest, Merissa, you actually sound... I can definitely hear some hints of Joyce DiDonato's speaking voice in your own voice, which is actually pretty cool. You know, honestly, I hear... I clearly can definitely tell you definitely have some influences from Joyce. I don't know who you're taught by. You might be taught by Joyce, and if so, that's the coolest thing in the world. But yeah, again, like I said, she does not sing that she left out the recording of her singing that second piece, but I would very, very much love to hear it. So, anyway, here we go, continuing on with that piece. And this is as loud as the volume can possibly go, so... Wow. Wow. Wow, your vibrato is amazing, Merissa. And I love your portamento. Absolutely epic. Whoa. I'm happy to say it's not a wobble anymore. Good job. My laptop speakers like to vibrate. Ooh, good control on the dynamics there. Wow. Ooh, again, great portamento. Okay, big jump coming up. Ugh! See, I'm not a big fan of big jumps like that because my very first ever nightmare was somebody attacking me while they were doing like a multi-octave jump right in my ear. And so, jumps that are upward jumps an octave or more scare the Mozzilla out of me. I'm just... wow. My laptop speakers keep vibrating and I don't have any control over that, but... But still, wow. Whoa. Like, pretty awesome so far, Merissa. Ooh. See, if you guys don't think that this is real opera singing, I don't know what to tell you. Because now we have too many opera singers that pretty much have a wobble, no portamento, aka expression, like the slides between the notes, and they just don't have the range and control, which is really sad. So I'm glad to see there's somebody like Merissa who is taking that passion and taking the opera world by storm. You got this, Merissa. You got this. You got this. And I think she's like 2 years younger than me, so it's like, whoa. She is definitely a soprano. As I like to say it... there you go again. Portamento. She sounds very similar to the instrument that accompanies the Italian zampogna bagpipe, which is called the Ciaramella. The Ciaramella is basically the wife of the zampogna, musically speaking. And a Ciaramella is supposed to have a vibrato just like that. Or, like, you're not supposed to distinguish between the vibrato of a Ciaramella player and the vibrato of an opera singer. So, if you understand opera, you would be an amazing Ciaramella player, Merissa. I really think you would excel at the Ciaramella. I swear you would be one of the most amazing Ciaramella players in the world. But it does take a lot of, listening to... Very few Ciaramella players can play it too well. Whoa. I'm impressed with your range, Merissa. I'm really impressed. But very few Ciaramella players can play the instrument very well because they don't have any vibrato. They don't know how to do the staccato. And it's just, pretty much, in short, you just have to understand opera to be a really good Ciaramella player. Whoa, your low notes are amazing, Merissa. And if it repeats, then yes. Yeah. So yeah, wow. Like, I'm very impressed, Merissa. I really, 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 really hope you're able to hear this and possibly find this and possibly subscribe to my channel again. Because I just hate kid mode because I have no intentions to say anything negative to you. And I'm trying to praise you for your amazing singing voice and your amazing technique and all the hours that you must have put in there to, to master this piece. And you won't let me say anything to you. And, are you, too afraid everybody's gonna criticize you? I mean, I can definitely see that because I know of a ton of people in our modern generation who absolutely hate opera. But really, I think it's because they've only been exposed to the crappy wobble vibratos. But honestly, I don't know how you're ever going to hear this, Merissa, because I really want you to know that you've done a really good job. And I really want you to know I appreciate, I definitely can hear all the effort you've put into it for trying. I don't know if you won the competition, but among the young people of our generation, you are definitely one of the good ones, Merissa. And you would be an amazing Ciaramella player. I really think so. The more you understand opera, the better Ciaramella player you'll be. Because, again, you're not supposed to distinguish between the vibrato of a Ciaramella player, a good Ciaramella player, and that of an opera singer. Laura Bertone would be an amazing Ciaramella player, too. Now, the zampogna, obviously, you can't do any vibrato because it's a type of bagpipe. So, but the Ciaramella is basically, it's almost like an oboe kind of instrument. You blow it in your mouth, and, it's just a really cool instrument. This thing has, a 2-octave range, and one of the greatest Ciaramella players in history was Cecilio Perilli. And Cecilio Perilli lived from 1920 to 1985. And his son Gianni continues his tradition. And he was probably one of the most coloratura Ciaramella players ever out there. And Just like we have very few good opera singers left in the world, if any, because all the good ones are kind of retiring from having wobbles. We have very good Ciaramella players left. Pretty much all of them had no vibrato. They don't know how to do the staccato notes like you properly. They don't know how to properly do the staccato notes like you do on a Ciaramella, like a good Ciaramella player does. And you know, I guess I don't know what else to say. Again, I've put this link in the descriptions of my recordings before, but Merissa, I'd love for you to hear Cecilio Perilli's Ciaramella playing, and so I'm going to put the only 2 tracks of his that exist. Gianni Perilli is accompanying him on 2 different zampogne that were overdubbed over it, his Ciaramella. But you will definitely see why that a Ciaramella is probably one of the closest to operatic instruments you can play, because again, you're supposed to sound like an opera singer, vibrato-wise, technique-wise, on a Ciaramella. And once you understand, if you understand opera, you already know what good Ciaramella playing sounds like. So, yeah, that's Merissa Beddows singing Depuis Le Jour by Charpentiere. I've only heard this piece twice before, and so it's pretty refreshing to, kind of hear it only for a third time. So, you did very well, Merissa. I really hope you hear this. I really hope you subscribe again, because there are millions of recordings that I really think you're missing out on. And, yeah, so if you guys are new to this channel, or if you guys are new to this series, feel free to hit the like button. Definitely feel free to subscribe. Definitely don't be afraid to comment all you want, because I live for comments. So feel free to comment away, hit like, hit subscribe, and join me for another episode of Blind Piper Reacts in order for you to hear some really interesting music, or music that rarely anyone of our generation listens to, or to kind of go down a really interesting rabbit hole of really interesting music that you probably have never heard before. I will put the link to the entire playlist in the description again, so that you will be able to listen to everything that I've reacted to so far. I have reacted to a couple of opera singers before. Again, thank you, Jack Matthews, for subscribing. And so, if he subscribed to me before, I'm pretty sure, I hope, that Merissa will find me, subscribe to me, and all that cool stuff. Because, she's just honestly really good. And I really wish I knew more opera singers of our modern generation that don't have wobbles. So, yeah. So, hope you've enjoyed this, and have a great day, and we'll see you next time.